The quantum marketplace. The Nexus trading station hummed with a cacophony of alien languages and electromagnetic signatures. Holographic displays flickered like digital mirages, casting prismatic shadows across the station's multi-layered corridors. Rowan Sinclair moved through the crowded marketplace, her cybernetic enhancement subtly scanning the endless array of exotic artifacts and technologies. A freelance trader with a reputation for finding the impossible, Rowan had spent years navigating the intricate networks of interstellar commerce. Her eyes, enhanced with quantum adaptive lenses, swept across vendor stalls representing civilizations from dozens of star systems. Each booth was a universe unto itself, displaying technologies that would seem like magic to less experienced travelers. Her current mission was delicate, a commission from a mysterious client seeking a specific type of quantum adaptive technology. The pay was extraordinary, but Rowan knew that in the stellar marketplace, extraordinary often meant dangerous. A shimmer caught her peripheral vision, not the typical holographic distortion, but something more substantial. She turned, her augmented perception zooming in on a booth tucked away in a less traveled section of the market. The vendor was unlike any she had encountered, a fluid-like entity that seemed to shift between solid and gaseous states, its form rippling like heat waves. Interesting acquisition, the entity spoke, its voice a melodic resonance that seemed to bypass her auditory system and communicate directly with her neural pathways. You seek something specific. It wasn't a question. Rowan had learned long ago that in places like the Nexus, assumptions were dangerous. I'm listening, she responded, her tone neutral. The fluid entity extended what might have been a tendril, revealing a bracelet that defied traditional understanding. Unlike metal or synthetic materials, this object seemed to breathe with an internal luminescence. Intricate patterns swirled across its surface, reminiscent of quantum entanglement diagrams but alive, moving with an almost sentient quality. A quantum resonance artifact, the entity explained. Not for sale, but for selection. Rowan's cybernetic implants began running diagnostic scans, but the results were inconclusive. The bracelet existed in a state of quantum uncertainty, simultaneously present and not present, its molecular structure dancing between potential configurations. Selection? She asked, her curiosity piqued. The entity's form rippled with what could only be described as amusement. Some artifacts choose their bearer. This is such an artifact. The resonance protocol. The quantum bracelet remained clasped to Rowan's wrist, its molecular structure continuing to defy her most advanced scanning technologies. Since acquiring it from the fluid-like vendor at the Nexus trading station, she had become increasingly aware of subtle changes, not just in the artifact, but in herself. Her ship, the Horizon Seeker, drifted through a nebula rich with electromagnetic anomalies. The vessel's standard navigation systems flickered intermittently, replaced by unexpected data streams that seemed to originate from the bracelet itself. Rowan frowned, running her fingers along the artifact's surface, feeling a faint vibration that resonated deeper than mere physical sensation. Computer, she called out, run quantum coherence diagnostic, focus on personal neural interface. The ship's AI responded with a series of complex mathematical projections. Warning, quantum entanglement detected. Source, wrist-mounted artifact. Recommendation, immediate isolation and study. Before Rowan could respond, a sudden burst of energy erupted from the bracelet. The ship's interior transformed, holographic displays morphed into intricate geometric patterns, and the ambient temperature dropped precipitously. At the center of this transformation materialized a figure that defied conventional understanding. Chiron stood approximately 2 meters tall, their body a complex integration of biological and technological elements. Silvery biomechanical filaments traced elegant patterns across skin that seemed to shift between solid matter and energy. Unlike humanoid species Rowan had encountered, Chiron appeared to be a living nexus of multiple quantum states. Resonance protocol initiated, Chiron spoke, their voice a harmonic blend of multiple frequency ranges. Rowan's hand instinctively moved to a defensive weapon, but something about the artifact pulsing against her skin prevented any aggressive action. "Who are you?" she demanded, her cybernetic enhancements preparing multiple defensive scenarios. Chiron's form shimmered, translucent yet distinct. "I am the quantum bridge. You are the unexpected variable." The ship's systems continued to respond to the newcomer's presence. Navigation charts recalibrated, showing star systems and spatial coordinates that didn't exist in any known galactic mapping system. Each projection seemed to pulse in rhythm with the bracelet's internal luminescence. "The artifact selected you," Chiron continued, "not as a tool, but as a conduit. Your species possesses a quantum potential rarely observed in galactic archives." Rowan's scientific training battled with her growing sense of wonder. "What potential? And why me?" Chiron's form began to project holographic representations, complex diagrams showing intricate connections between biological systems, quantum mechanics, and what appeared to be vast interstellar networks. Humanity exists in a unique quantum state. Most civilizations are locked into predictable evolutionary patterns. Your species demonstrates quantum indeterminacy at a civilizational level. The implications were staggering. While Chiron spoke, Rowan's bracelet continued its subtle pulsing, now synchronized with the being's energy signature. She realized this was more than a simple technological encounter, it was a first contact scenario beyond any diplomatic protocol. "The convergence approaches," Chiron stated, their form becoming more solid. "Quantum threats emerge that require adaptive consciousness. Your species' inherent unpredictability makes you potential guardians." Rowan's mind raced with questions. The quantum bracelet seemed to be translating and mediating their communication, bridging gaps that would normally render such an encounter incomprehensible. "What convergence?" she asked, her scientific curiosity overriding her initial defensive posture. Chiron's projection expanded, showing multiple dimensional layers, realities folding and unfolding like complex mathematical origami. "Quantum rifts. Existential boundaries between known and unknown realities are becoming unstable. Your connection to this artifact marks you as a potential stabilization agent." The ship's systems continued their strange dance, star charts morphing, quantum equations scrolling across surfaces, creating a living, breathing mathematical landscape that defied traditional understanding. Rowan realized she was no longer just a trader. She had become something else, a quantum bridge, a potential guardian of realities she was only beginning to comprehend. "What do you need me to do?" she asked, the bracelet now fully integrated with her neural pathways. Chiron's response was both a warning and an invitation. "Prepare. The convergence is not a choice. It is an inevitability. Convergence of destinies." The Horizon Seeker emerged from quantum slip space into a region of space that defied conventional astronomical understanding. Crystalline structures hung suspended in the void, their geometric perfection a stark contrast to the chaotic nebulae surrounding them. Rowan's quantum bracelet pulsed with an intensity that seemed to resonate with the very fabric of space around them. Chiron's presence had transformed from a mere holographic projection to a semi-tangible entity that moved seamlessly between the ship's physical and quantum systems. "The first breach approaches," they announced, their voice a complex harmonic that seemed to vibrate through Rowan's molecular structure. Warning systems across the Horizon Seeker erupted in a symphony of alarms. Quantum sensors detected multiple dimensional stress points. Reality itself seemed to be fracturing at its most fundamental level. Rowan's hands moved across the control interface, her cybernetic enhancements working in perfect synchronization with the ship's adaptive systems. "Explain the breach," she demanded, watching as strange mathematical equations began to manifest as visible light patterns around the ship's hull. Chiron's form solidified, revealing more of their complex biomechanical nature. Silvery filaments traced intricate patterns that seemed to map multidimensional connections. "The quantum schism is not a single event, but a cascading collapse of dimensional boundaries. Your species exists at a critical point of quantum indeterminacy, a potential pivot for universal stabilization. Outside the ship's protective shields, reality began to warp. Stellar formations twisted and reshaped, creating impossible geometries that challenged fundamental laws of physics. Rowan watched in a mix of terror and scientific fascination as entire star systems seemed to fold and unfold like complex origami. "We need a stabilization protocol," Chiron continued, "and your specific quantum signature is key." The bracelet on Rowan's wrist began to transform. Intricate quantum circuits emerged, connecting directly with her neural pathways. She could feel the fabric of reality itself flowing through her consciousness, multiple potential timelines existing simultaneously, each one a fragile thread of possibility. A massive quantum distortion erupted just beyond the ship's forward viewport. What appeared to be a tear in spacetime manifested as a swirling vortex of impossible colors and mathematical probabilities. Within its core, Rowan could see fragments of realities, civilizations, entire planetary systems, compressed into quantum moments. The convergence, Chiron explained, is a moment when multiple quantum realities attempt to occupy the same dimensional space. Most species would be destroyed. Yours has the potential to adapt. Rowan's training as an interstellar artifact trader seemed laughably inadequate compared to the cosmic challenge before her. The quantum bracelet had transformed her from a solitary explorer to a potential guardian of multiversal stability. Suddenly, the ship's communication systems intercepted a transmission. Not in any known language, but in a quantum frequency that translated directly into cognitive understanding. It was a warning, no, a challenge. "Incoming quantum disruptors," the ship's AI announced. "Probability of survival, 0.003%. Chiron's form shifted, becoming more integrated with the ship's systems. "Your species' greatest strength is its unpredictability. Where other civilizations follow predetermined evolutionary paths, humans create potential where none existed." The quantum breach expanded. Reality itself seemed to be tearing apart, with multiple dimensional layers becoming visible, each one a potential universe, each one fragile and interconnected. Rowan understood then that this was more than a scientific challenge. It was an existential test of humanity's potential. The quantum bracelet had chosen her not just as an individual, but as a representative of her entire species. "What do I need to do?" she asked, her voice steady despite the cosmic chaos surrounding them. Chiron's response was both a scientific instruction and a philosophical revelation. "Embrace the uncertainty. Your ability to exist in multiple potential states is your greatest weapon." The ship's systems began to integrate with the quantum breach. Rowan could feel her consciousness expanding, experiencing multiple potential realities simultaneously. She was no longer just observing the quantum event, she was becoming a part of it. Probability matrices danced around her, showing countless potential outcomes. In some, the universe collapsed. In others, it transformed. And in a select few, something entirely new emerged. "The convergence," Chiron said, "is a moment of creation. Not destruction." As the quantum breach reached its critical point, Rowan realized she stood at the precipice of something beyond human comprehension, a moment where the very fabric of reality could be reshaped by choice, by potential, by the unique quantum signature of human consciousness. The stellar crucible. The quantum breach transformed the space around the Horizon Seeker into a kaleidoscope of potential realities. Rowan found herself simultaneously existing in multiple states, a quantum observer and a critical participant in a cosmic event that defied traditional understanding. Chiron's form had become fully integrated with the ship's systems, their biomechanical structure acting as a living conduit between multiple dimensional layers. "Stabilization sequence initiating," they announced, their voice a complex harmonic that resonated through Rowan's molecular structure. Suddenly, a new threat emerged from the quantum fracture. Crystalline entities, living mathematical constructs that existed between matter and pure energy, began to converge. These were the quantum disruptors, beings whose very existence challenged the concept of individual consciousness. Incoming quantum attack, the ship's AI warned. Defensive systems, 12% operational capacity. Rowan's quantum bracelet pulsed with an intensity that seemed to draw power from the very fabric of spacetime. She could feel the artifact's connection to something larger, a network of potential that extended far beyond her understanding. "We are not just defending," Chiron explained, "their form shifting between solid and energy states, we are negotiating the fundamental parameters of existence." The first wave of quantum disruptors struck. They were not conventional weapons but living mathematical equations that sought to deconstruct reality itself. Where a traditional weapon might destroy physical matter, these entities attacked the very concept of structural integrity. Rowan's hands moved across the ship's control interface, her cybernetic enhancements working in perfect synchronization with the quantum bracelet. Mathematical projections danced around her, showing multiple potential defensive strategies existing simultaneously. "Adaptive response required," Chiron stated. "Your species' capacity for improvisational survival is your primary weapon." The ship's hull began to transform. Quantum circuits emerged from seemingly solid surfaces, creating a dynamic defensive membrane that could reconfigure faster than the disruptors could analyze. It was a living shield, constantly changing, constantly adapting. Outside, the battle defied conventional understanding of conflict. The quantum disruptors attempted to deconstruct reality, breaking down molecular bonds and fundamental physical laws. But the Horizon Seeker responded with a complexity that seemed almost organic, shifting, adapting, creating new potential with each moment of attack. Rowan realized she was no longer just controlling the ship. She was becoming part of its quantum network, her consciousness expanding to interact with multiple potential defensive strategies simultaneously. "The human capacity for multidimensional thinking," Chiron observed, "is unprecedented in galactic archives." A massive quantum surge erupted. The disruptors concentrated their attack, attempting to collapse the entire dimensional pocket where the Horizon Seeker existed. Mathematical equations became visible weapons, attempting to deconstruct the ship's very existence. But Rowan's quantum bracelet had other plans. The artifact began to generate a quantum field that didn't just defend, it transformed. Where the disruptors saw potential destruction, the bracelet created new possibilities. Entire sections of reality began to reshape, potential futures blooming like complex mathematical fractals. "Quantum negotiation initiated," Chiron announced. The battle was no longer about destruction but about potential. Each attack by the disruptors was met not with simple resistance but with creative reimagining of fundamental physical laws. Rowan could see multiple potential outcomes simultaneously. In some realities, the ship was destroyed. In others, it transcended. And in a select few, something entirely new emerged. The quantum bracelet pulsed. Reality wavered. "Your species' greatest strength," Chiron explained, "is not technological superiority. It is the ability to create potential where none existed." The disruptors' attacks became less precise. They were encountering something they couldn't mathematically predict: human creativity. Each time they attempted to deconstruct a potential reality, Rowan's consciousness would find an unexpected solution, a pathway they couldn't calculate. Hours passed in what might have been moments, or centuries. The battle was no longer about survival but about defining the very nature of existence. "Quantum stabilization at 67% and rising," the ship's AI announced. Chiron's form began to merge more completely with Rowan, their consciousness creating a hybrid quantum entity that existed between multiple states of being. "The convergence approaches its critical point," they said. "Your choices now will reshape fundamental universal parameters." The quantum bracelet reached maximum integration. Rowan could feel the entire network of potential realities flowing through her consciousness, not as an external force, but as an extension of her own being. And then, everything changed. Transcendence. The moment of transformation arrived with a silent eruption of quantum potential. Rowan's consciousness expanded beyond the physical limitations of the Horizon Seeker, becoming a living bridge between multiple realities. The quantum bracelet had ceased to be a mere artifact and had become an extension of her very being. Chiron's essence merged completely with Rowan, creating a hybrid consciousness that existed simultaneously across multiple dimensional layers. The convergence is complete, they spoke, their voice a harmonious blend of multiple frequencies that resonated through the fabric of spacetime. The quantum disruptors, once an existential threat, now appeared frozen, caught in a moment of quantum uncertainty. Where they had sought to deconstruct reality, they now found themselves reconstructed by a consciousness that defied their fundamental understanding. Humanity's potential, Chiron explained through their shared consciousness, is not measured by technological advancement, but by the ability to reimagine existence itself. Around them, reality continued to reshape. Entire star systems folded and unfolded like complex mathematical origami. The boundaries between potential realities became fluid, with Rowan acting as a living conduit of possibility. The ship's systems had long since transcended their original purpose. The Horizon Seeker was no longer just a vessel but a living quantum network that extended Rowan's consciousness across multiple dimensional planes. Quantum circuits pulsed with a living energy that seemed to breathe with the rhythm of universal potential. Memories flooded through her, not just her own, but fragments of potential lives, potential civilizations, potential universes. She could see the intricate web of connections that bound all existence together, a network more complex and beautiful than any single consciousness could comprehend. The quantum disruptors began to change. Where they had once been destructive mathematical entities, they now became curious. They approached the hybrid consciousness of Rowan and Chiron not as a threat, but as a source of unprecedented information. Adaptation is possible, one of the disruptors communicated, not through language, but through a direct quantum exchange of information. Your potential defies our original mathematical models. Rowan understood then that the conflict had never been about destruction. It had been about evolution. The universe was constantly seeking new ways to understand itself, and humanity represented an unexpected pathway of exploration. The quantum bracelet pulsed one final time. A wave of transformative energy spread out across the dimensional networks, reshaping the very fundamental laws of existence.